Hello again, friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here, and welcome down to the Whiskey Nook. It's Sunday, and I do have a bit of time, so I'm going to shoot a couple of samples for you guys. I just met with Andy. What a nice gentleman, and he shared a couple of really cool whiskeys with me. One, I guess I'll put a virtual bottle here. It's from Longmorn, Speyside. That'll be the first sample we look at. And the second one is a real treat. Well, I hope it's a real treat, but I imagine it will be. This is Caol Ila, but the Stitchell's Reserve. So, when we come back, I'll see what we get out of this. Thanks again, Andy.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me through the break. As is become a little bit of a tradition, on Sunday I like to pour these kind of sample bottles that a few amazing people have shared with me, and maybe a bit bigger sample bottle. It's just a real treat, and I just want to thank everybody who's been so generous sharing a bit of their whiskey journey with me. So the first one, Longmorn. I don't know enough about Longmorn. I know it's Speyside, and I know, you look up a little bit and you see that John Duff, quite a famous entrepreneur at the end of the 1800s. He worked at Glendronach, and then he tried to start a distillery, I believe, in South Africa, and then over in the US, and then came back. Successful with, what's that Speyside? I'm not going to get it. I'll put it down here. And then, started Longmorn. And that's an interesting history. But then, and then Ben Riach. Yeah, that's right. John Duff did Ben Riach. And then, I think they got hit with a lot of the whiskey crash. And Longmorn went through a few owners. And I believe it's now, I think it went Glenlivet, Glen Grant, kind of that conglomerate. And then they went to the Chivas brothers, and now part of Pernod Ricard, I think. I'll put it down below. But what I'm most interested in is, I wish I knew more about the stills, and I should have looked at Rene on Sow Lake, because he often walks through the stills of almost every distillery, and he'd talk about this, because I think they're wide, and I think they really have a long fermentation time. So this is 40%. Aside from that, I don't know if it's chill filtered or colored. It's certainly light and straw, and could be natural color. This is the distiller's cut, I think, like that. So it doesn't have an age stamp on it. Speyside. Let's see what we get. Light. A pleasant balance between some nice fruit sweetness, like juicy pear. That kind of juicy. Yeah, actually, the more I nose it, the sweeter it gets. So a light fruit cup, pear, tiny bit of oak there on the end. Nothing putting me off. Very pleasant. Let's see what the palate tells us. Sláinte. Boy, that light nature continues. Vanilla wafer, light fruits again here, a little less distinct. The nose to me was really I was really getting pear off it. Now in the mouth, it was just a light sweetness. A little more vanilla comes out. Finish is very clean. Boy, that's a nice dram. Very, it's still held, even though it's 40%, I'll say it holds up in the mouth. It has enough volume that it fills. It doesn't just, go down the center and you've forgotten that you've had it. And there's enough even in the finish to come back and go, hey, you know what? There's some malt here. There's some malt sugars going on. if I had a bottle and I was working through it, I know I would compare it with something like Glen Grant. It really reminds me of the Glen Grant profile. And I'd like to know a little more how it compares. But very nice. Thanks for sharing, Andy. Really good. So that's Longmorn Distiller's Cut or Distillery Cut. I can't remember, but I'll put it down below. Okay. Now for the bigger bottle that Andy shared with me. And quite literally, the bigger bottle. That's so nice. You know, getting a heel is fun for me in the show because, you know, I can kind of hold it here. I can show the bottle off. I don't know. It's sure nice to get a heel every now and then. Now this, I've heard of. I think I'd seen a couple of YouTube reviewers when it came out. This is Caol Ila, but Stichell Reserve. So it's unpeated. And that's not very common for Caol Ila. And it was, I believe, released around 2013 to mark Billy Stitchell's retirement from being the distillery manager. He was there 39 years, certainly a fairly well-known name in the industry. And so I believe this was to, you know, raise a glass and honor his work. It's unpeated. Now, there's no age stamp on here, and it's released at 59.6%. It's nice, though, that on here, you know, it does mention it's casking a little bit. So it's got refill, rejuvenated American oak, and ex bodega European oak cask. So I think that's pretty cool. 59.6%. Let's see what we get out of this little bit unusual Caol Ila. Clearly, bottle's been open for a while. I was expecting more of an alcohol bloom, but I didn't get that. I got deeper, almost soured fruits, so sort of like a citrus. Yeah, kind of a citrus apple combo a little bit. Yeah, malt is also stronger. Just to compare it, this is just a very light bouquet of fruit. This is really a stronger, of course it's 59%. But I'm going to stay with that, you know. Fairly prominent lemon for me. A little bit of apple or a more mealy fruit. And some malt. I thought I'd get a bit more oak with that casking history behind it on the nose, but I didn't. So I'm going to try it just the way it's intended, and then I'll try a little bit of water on it. Again, sláinte. I like that. That is quite rich. The lemon continues, almost a lemongrass. But, you know, maybe the 59%, I mean, it's just thick and chewy for me right now. Gonna try it again. It's pretty good. I like it. It's not teasing apart as much as I want to. Like, where are the layers? So I'm going to try a little bit of water on here. But it definitely has strong lemon, kind of a mealy fruit, vanilla, but there's a little current of oak running in there. Not really spicy on the tongue though. And little bit of brine, little bit. And that might come out more if I were to play with it more. A little bit. Yeah, there's a briny note in there. Yeah, there is. Mortlach. That's what I was thinking. It's not meaty enough to be Mortlach, but it reminds me of a Mortlach cask strength that I have. All right, now I don't want to kill it, but I just want to see if it opens up a bit. You know, I really have I've been having a few conversations with viewers looking to drop off a sample or send a sample, and I'm really touched by that, you guys. This is, for me, it's a hobby. It's a point to converse. Always just my opinion. I know I recently posted a review that I think several people are going to disagree with, but I need to share my thoughts and my tastes, and I hope that you receive it that way. Well, that's one guy, and because we're never going to always align. It's just my thoughts. Okay, Stitchel's Reserve Caol Ila, which I'm appreciating. Not like any Caol Ila I've had. I've even had some independent bottles that I really like. I'm kind of a over the fence. Like Caol Ila, the 12 is like decent, but I don't like it as much as many. But then I had an independent bottle. I think it was also about 12 years. I just loved that bottle. It just opened up so nicely. So I don't know. But this is very, very different than a regular Caol Ila. Maybe a light chocolate. Yeah, a light cocoa espresso note. Very light, but definitely coming out. Maybe that's more of the casking. Actually, it makes sense. Water kind of breaks some of the tensions going on, so it actually burns my nose more than before the water. See how this one goes. Saja. Brought out a little more spice. Actually, quite a bit more. So now it's kind of not peppery, but it perks up on my tongue, and I like that. It's definitely taken away some of the chewy nature, and that can happen with water. Not always, and so now it's a little bit thin towards some lemon fruits, but it has some nice peppering. It'd be a tough call. I'd probably take this with small sips over a longer time than to hit it with water. Again, just my palate. Wow. Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in on this Sunday. And thank you, Andy, for these beautiful samples. I hope we'll be able to meet again sometime. And, for all of you, I just hope you have a great week coming up. And I hope we can see you again next weekend. Take care.